Welcome back to another episode of Matrix. I'm Andy.
I'm Tiana.
And today we have a guest, our second guest. So let me formally introduce. So she is an author. She is an advocate for prison reform. We have TJ.
Woo! Hi, ladies.
Hey.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, we are grateful to have you.
Thank you for coming.
Of course. So, I don't even know where to start with your story, right? But I'm going to allow you to have the floor so you can introduce yourself to people that may not be familiar with who you are, your story, where you come from.
Okay. Firstly, I just want to say thank you again for sharing your platform with me. A little bit about myself. My name is TJ Volcane. I am an author, as you mentioned before. I'm a community leader, criminal justice reform advocate. I also share my personal story on social media. I'm formerly incarcerated. I served 5 years in federal prison, so a lot of my work is around my personal lived experience. Right now I'm going through a really big hardship with my son. So a lot of what I talk about is how incarceration is intergenerational, and we could talk a little bit about that during the interview, but let's, start a little bit about me.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So for our first topic, we want to talk about motherhood behind bars, right? Okay. So the guilt, the stigma, the resilience. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so
let's talk about the guilt first. Okay. So how old was your son, right? Am I correct? When you went in, okay, you had both sons then?
No, okay. So I'll give you a little bit about it. So when I went into prison, I had one child. He was 3 years old. And I was pregnant when I was indicted. And so it's kind of like I went in and kind of numbed myself, or trying to like not face what's really happening. I didn't think about, I had 5 years that I was going to spend away from my child and my soon to be, I was soon to be a mother of two. I kind of was just living in survival mode and trying to like get through each day as it passed. So like, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. I'm in court. Okay, let me get through this. Now I'm sentenced and I'm going to turn myself in. Let me get through that. And then ultimately, that's how I got through it. Not understanding how traumatizing I actually was in a moment, and just surviving each moment as it happened.
So you get sentenced, right? Your child is living with, or will live with, who?
So you're saying my situation or in general?
Your situation.
So my child went to live with my husband at the time. We're not together anymore. But his family stepped up and kind of took him, even though I was only pregnant with the child. The child that I was pregnant with was their family member, but my oldest son wasn't their child. But they still kind of took care of him. A lot of trauma with that, but I can't complain. My kids weren't adopted. I'd done time with women who actually had their children adopted in foster care. I didn't have to deal with any of that. Things are not ideal. Obviously, everything is not perfect. I kind of didn't even have a relationship with the family at the time. Felt like, you're incarcerated, even though the system treats you as a number. Your rights are taken away. Your control of your autonomy and decisions are taken away. And people kind of follow suit to that. Unconsciously. It's kind of like a thing. Like, I'm calling, I'm like, hey, I need some pictures of my kid. Pictures take like a month to come. People move on their time. And so it was something that I didn't realize or think about going into incarceration, but it's a lot.
So how was it trying to parent when you were incarcerated, being that you were an absent parent? Because me personally, I seen it firsthand in the male perspective, how they always talk to me because they chatty as hell. So they used to be like, oh, my son, listen, I'm trying to tell him not to do this because, obviously you don't want your child to be in the situation that you're currently in. So they had a struggle with trying to get through to their children, being that, some kids probably looking at you. Your kids were young, though, but, older kids, what are you talking? You know how kids are. So I just wanted to know, how was it parenting, being that you were technically absent for, that brief period of time?
It was traumatizing. It was depressing. It was sad, but I'm the type of person, I keep moving. I don't allow adversity to stop my progress. I try to do the best wherever I am. And so me doing well came a long while after that, but initially I was distracted by prison antics. There's a lot going on in prison people don't know about.
Right.
So like I was working in the kitchen, stealing from the kitchen. I was having fights. Like I write about it in my book, A Black Girl in Orange. Talks about like all the trouble I was in. I was getting into solitary confinement, often in the box. And so I think those moments of stillness, it really hit me, where like everything was taken away. There wasn't anything to do. And so you sitting with your situation like, wow, I'm really like in this box, gotten in trouble, can't call my kids. I don't know what's going on with them. And those moments caused me to be even more, self-destructive. And so it was a long slope downhill while I was incarcerated before that started to become more positive for me, more optimistic. I kind of put it out of my head. I kind of, like I said before, dealt with each moment as it passed. There were moments where I didn't call my children. I didn't want to hear from them because it would put me in a deeper state of depression. People didn't understand like what I was going through, but I knew like I had to get through it. I had to, for my own mental health, it was like a tease. Every time I call and I'm hearing that, oh, my son is not walking. Remember, I had my baby while I was incarcerated. So this other person who I don't even particularly care for at the time was able to be that support. So it was killing me inside. Right. But I did my best. I sent candy. I would crochet things and send it send it home from the prison and try to connect as much as I could. Before I started getting in trouble, I was getting some visits. My husband would come up and see me. But then just because of like some of the restrictions of getting in trouble, they would take away my visitation. And so that caused that drove a wedge between me and my family, not being able to connect through visits, being in solitary confinement. And after a while, it was just like separation that caused more harm than good.
You know what I want to ask you before we shift gears? Because I do want to talk about like you breaking cycles and like, yes, that's a part of your story, but that's not all of you and, your evolution. Like we'll love to discuss that. But as a Black woman and knowing how dangerous the healthcare system is, and you've had a baby while you were incarcerated, what was that experience like? Where like they say it's so important to have like skin to skin. Were you able to have that bond with your child? Just give a little insight on that.
So, really, you only get like 1.5 days. But I ended up having a C-section. I wrote about that experience in a lot of detail. I can remember being really afraid. I was like, are they going to take my uterus? Like, I don't trust these people. I don't have anybody here with me. Thankfully, I speak about that. I've spoken about this publicly, that I was able to advocate for my husband to come to the hospital and be there with me, but the warden of the institution would not allow him to be there while the birth was happening. They said that too much would be happening and it was a security risk, and so he could visit me. It was the first time that they had allowed this in the BOP. So I kind of like started something new. And then people outside, of my experience after me was able to have that experience and have family members come. But back to that situation, I was so scared. I didn't trust them. They told me, oh, you have to have a C-section. I'm like, let me see. I want to see. What's the screen? I'm hearing beeping. I'm like, there's no one there with me for me to know. I didn't want to take what they were saying at face value. But I had a doctor come to me. People kept coming in the room, and it was just a lot of commotion and monitors going off. And he grabbed me. He said, listen, you need to sign these papers. You have to have a C-section. Your baby's going to die. And when he told me that, I just prayed. I closed my eyes. I said, Lord, take care of us. And I signed the paperwork. I didn't go to sleep. I had a sheet there. Thankfully, the correction officer was so beautiful to me. She was so warm, so supportive. I could see her, really, she had genuine concern. I'm really good at that, like reading on people and just feeling out if someone is genuine. And so I felt a good vibe from her. And I believe she was a blessing for me in that moment. So, yeah.
I feel like a lot of times people that work in corrections, they dehumanize people. Like I've had my share with the legal system, you know. Honestly, like, I speak on it briefly, but like, my first experience with prison or jail was at 14. Like, I went to Spofford, and then when I was older, it was a means of survival. So, like, even in that experience, I remember a police officer literally saying to me, "You're not one of them. Why are you here?" But it really struck me deeply that the audacity of you to say that, because how are you viewing my people? And I can imagine the harshness, the treatment that you instill on people just because they're brown or black. You know what I mean? It's just so cruel.
It's funny you say that, because when I went into prison, I felt like I was better than the people in there. Like, to be honest, I was judgmental. I just was like, oh, I'm smarter than these people. I felt like I had a better educational background. And judging people who had substance use challenges. And by the end of my prison sentence, that perspective had changed significantly, because I realized everybody came from trauma. Everybody had one common thing. And one of those things was 90% of the people in prison had some type of trauma happen in their early childhood. And it was strange for me to recognize and see humanity in what I've been trained to view as something I needed to judge. And so people who had never become humble, I wasn't a humble person before that. And so, you know, I just wanted to mention that based off your experience. I mean, you sharing your experience.
Yeah, like, two things could be true. I am smarter. I am all of this, but clearly not that smart that I ended up in the same predicament as you, you know? So two things could be true. Like,
it was a realization for me, definitely. Like, you're not that smart.
Right.
You're in prison. That's true.
All right, so we want to talk about breaking cycles, right? Okay. So rebuilding your life after incarceration. So now you come home, your son is still with his family. Do you go and get him? Now you have two. So do you go and get them? What is that like?
So thankfully, I had an apartment when I was released. My husband did keep up my living situation, so I was able to return back to the apartment. But I didn't want to just take my son out of the setting that he knew. He was 4 when I was released. And I wanted him to feel comfortable with me before taking him on full time. I also didn't trust myself. I didn't know how to be a mom of 2 boys. One kid was in school. See, people usually grow with their children. You have a child and you grow and you go through the different stages. I was removed for 5 years or 4.5 years. And then I come back and all of a sudden now I'm expected to just know what I'm supposed to do. So a part of me wanted some support. Even though there was this shade between the family and I still put myself there. I slept on a bunk bed. I really, like, whatever she wanted me to do, the aunt, she was really difficult for me to deal with. It wasn't the most ideal situation for me. It was traumatic. I felt like she was another correctional officer. She was really controlling. I wasn't comfortable. It felt like I was walking on eggshells. But I dealt with it because I wanted to be there with my children. And for me, even like to this day, in retrospect, it was a good decision for me to make, because I don't know if the relationship would have been what it is now if I would have just taken him out of the home just like that, right? So I was able to win my son each day. The older one, he had remembered me from before. So
how old was he?
When I went in, he was 3.5. When I came out, he was 7.5.
Okay.
So he, was a little bit more familiar with me. But coming home, I spent a lot of time with the in-laws, with them, sleeping in the bed with my kids. I had to teach my son how to read. The oldest one was severely behind. I thought he wasn't smart. And when I'm working with him, I'm realizing no one worked with him. My son had behavioral issues because I was gone. And so would get in trouble in school and wouldn't do his work. But as I sat with him, I realized this kid is picking up like this. I taught him how to read in like 2 months. So that was kind of what my life looked like. I struggled a lot. It was really hard for me to connect with people. I was really aggressive. People don't understand, like, prison is an animalistic environment. It's, like, disgusting. And so you can't be around something like that consistently and some of it residue doesn't get onto you. And so I didn't realize my own behavior. People, that I've been friends with for a long time, they're like, one girl, she kind of was like, do you want to fight or something? Like, what's up? So I was like, you're my friend. Why would I want to fight you? Mm-mm. And she was like, well, that's how you're acting. Your behavior is like you want to fight me. I don't understand. Like, are we friends? So I had to kind of check myself. A lot of my process in reentry and coming out of prison was self-awareness and understanding that, listen, you need a little bit of help. So I enrolled in a lot of personal development programs. I went into family therapy. I enrolled into individual therapy. I got as many services as I could because I knew I was at a deficit.
So I wanted to ask, right, before you went in, did you set up roles for your support system? Did everybody kind of have a piece of what they supposed, not that they supposed to, but you understand what I'm saying, to help you in your situation?
So I was 23 when I was sentenced. And no, I had no plan. As a 20, your mind is not working like when I'm right now. I'm 37. In the ideal world, that's what should have happened. But I had a husband in my mind. He got it. This is the man that I chose. So I'm looking at him like, I don't know if he can handle it, but I could. This is the only thing I got to work with. I was estranged from my family. Me and my mother had a no contact situation. My dad was the same thing. I grew up in foster care. If you want to know more about that, I can talk about that. But really being in a world by myself, it was devastating.
Okay. Yeah, I always felt when I from personal experience, not that with your situation that it was planned, like, okay, we know we gonna be sentenced right now, like I could schedule whatever I gotta do. But a lot of times I feel like when I meet the ones that I met, it'd be like they pick them off the street, throw you in there, that's it. Like, they're not coming out because whatever crime they did is no court date. Yeah, so it's like they in there already. So I felt like it's just like they were snatched from their environment already. So the support system, it just was like, you got to figure it out. Where your kid, like you said, some people wasn't fortunate. They don't know where their kid's going to go and things in that sort. So that'd be really hard because I personally know somebody that dealing with that. They went in jail, they came home, and it's like they still don't got their kids. And I never looked at it like that, that you said you had to adjust. You didn't just rip them from where they were. I look at it like, get out, get your kids, No. But it makes sense. Yeah, I get it.
It's hard. There were moments, and just to be transparent, I'll be sitting, and in my book, I refer to this woman. Her name is Aunt K. So I'll use her name as Aunt K. And she'll be like, you're not going to bathe your kids? Like, we all sitting there, my kids are playing on the floor, like, playing with toys or whatever. And she like, so you're not going to wash up your kids? You waiting for somebody to bathe your kids? And I'll be like, oh, snap. Like, and I look, and I see that they're dirty and a whole bunch of chocolate. And I'm like, okay, come on, y'all. And I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed that I didn't automatically know that. Like, it wasn't an instinct. Because for 5 years, I only thought about myself. Like, how you think about your kids, but it's more like, I got to deal with right now. I got to deal with watching the people around me. I got to deal with these correction officers. Some of them are racist. This is a different world I'm in, right? So you come out of that, you still on that time or that clock, kind of say. This is a scenario where somebody's telling you throughout the day what it is you're going to do. So you on a program. So now it's almost like I'm accustomed to that program. So I'm out. I came out not understanding what freedom really came with and how much responsibility was back on me, and which I think which is why a lot of people go back to prison. Yeah. They're not ready for that responsibility.
Especially the ones that do 20-some years. I've seen a lot with that. Yeah, they don't. I met a guy that never used a microwave before. I'm like,
really?
Because he'd been in jail since like the 80s.
Well, the federal,
you know what I'm saying?
Prison has microwaves.
Well, in the state, no, but we had microwaves to heat our food, but he never like physically used it because it depends on what jail you in. You don't have access to a microwave. Okay. So at the time, he was just like, he was like, what do you press? I was like, what do you mean, what do I press? He was like, I've never used a microwave. And I was like, how? But different jails and, different situations. But in, like you said, they program. So it's just, so I laugh at them. I'm like, what are you going to do when you get out? I don't know. Like, they just so used to somebody telling you what to do. You know what time you got to get up. You worrying only about yourself. You can work out, do whatever you want to do. You don't got to worry about nobody else.
Yeah, so, it's easier said than done. I experienced that. And which is why I didn't mention it before, but I work at the Fortune Society. Are you familiar?
Oh, I don't know.
So the Fortune Society is an organization, I believe the largest organization here in New York City that supports folks who are coming out of prison. So we have programming in prison. I particularly work in workforce development. I train women on how to integrate back into society, how to get a job, communication skills, confidence building, socio-emotional learning. And basically I was able to create this program based on my own lived experience and kind of like go back in time and like, what did I need in this moment? And so kind of became an expert at that. Women are doing well and being placed in jobs and they're like, oh my God, I'm so like, thank you so much. You changed my life. I think a lot of programming now that I want to do is in prison. I think that before folks are released from incarceration, men or women, there needs to be some type of reality check. Like, listen, this is not going to be easy. You thought this part was hard. Transitioning into the community is hard, and the A, B, and C is what you need to deal with. Especially your mental health, it should be number one priority. So, kind of what I want to do moving forward.
So, what do you think policymakers, lawmakers should start considering adding on to like programs or resources for the community, especially for reintegrating into the community, but children also need resources because it's like, you've been away from me for so long. Like the respect may or may not be there, you know, because I feel like just on the outside looking at it and knowing how I was as a child, it's like, you weren't here. You can't really tell me anything, right? So what do we think would be useful?
So there's so many, that's such a loaded question. As a woman I'm a mom who has a justice impacted kid. So my son is also going through the criminal legal system. I'm the first to be incarcerated in my family, and now my son is incarcerated. Well, he's out now, but he's been in and out. So what does this tell us? This is intentional. This is a well-oiled machine. For a family that's justice impacted like mine, there needs to be additional services. Particularly, I'm going to say from the Administration for Children's Services. We know ACS and child welfare to be the one that comes in and take your kid, the one that dismantles the family, the ones that come in and kind of place liability on the parent and scenarios like that. You don't really see a lot of support, especially for Black and brown people. And so if you look at the mission of ACS, the mission is for them to support children and families. And so as a parent, I have never received support from Administration for Children's Services. As a parent who's been formerly incarcerated and saying, listen, I need support, I need help. Even having my own programming in place, even finding organizations to help me and support me, they took my kids. When I came home, I lost my kids for 2 years. And it took me a long time to get them back, even though I was showing that, hey, I'm doing this, I'm in this program, I'm working, I moved, I have a beautiful apartment. You know, my son is in this program. It took me 2 years to get my kids back. So it just shows me that we need a lot of reconsideration regarding parent support, especially when you're dealing with a justice-involved family. Especially now that my son is now going through the criminal legal system. Now I'm looking for the courts to hold him accountable. Not in a punitive way. Of course, I don't want to criminalize my child, but what I'm noticing is that I'm reporting to the court, listen, this kid is out of control. They're ignoring me. They're making a scenario where driving a wedge between me and my son. So empowering my son in the legal system so that he feels like, oh, I have rights. I don't have to listen to my parent. I can do what I want to do. He doesn't even have the mental capacity to make decisions. He's not an adult. The frontal lobe of a child, a teenager, we all know is not developed, right? You need your parental support. You need that mentorship. And a child that's having that type of confidence, that type of support from his lawyers to let him feel like, oh, he doesn't need his mother, is going to wake up one day with, God forbid, 30 years in prison.
Yeah.
I'm working with these individuals every day. Where I went to prison at 17. I went to prison at 16. They gave me 50 years. They gave me 30 years. They gave me 20 years. I didn't realize what was going on until I was already 10 years in, right? And so this is a cycle. This is mass incarceration. This is the prison industrial system is a business. This is how they make money, right? And so There's so many things that policymakers should consider, but it's all about the framing, right? We got to look at it like, what do they want? They want to save money. We want less of our people to be incarcerated. So how can we partner? How can I give you what you want and get what I want in the process? And I think there's a lot of ignorance in like disadvantaged communities. We're not willing to work with people who don't look like us. We're not willing to work with someone who might have a different perspective. And that's why the needle is not getting moved. At the end of the day, we're still the ones filling up prisons. And we're the minority, right? So what are we gonna do about that?
I feel like I think it's something you can add on to like your experience within your family and like you have someone in your family that was sent away to like one of those behavioral kind of programs, and it's like it's
soon as
ineffective.
You said your son, I was just thinking about him like, oh my God, these new kids, they are just so I've seen, especially like you said, the ACS, that system is horrible. And I used to think before, back in the days when people talk about, the ACS taking away my kids, but realistically, it's like they're taking them away just to cover themselves. Of like they're making it seem like they're doing something. But what are you doing to help the mother get their children back?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Because that's a business.
Yes, it's a business. So I personally know somebody dealing with that. And I'm not going to lie. At first, I'm hearing you talking. I'm like, maybe she wasn't lying. Because I'm thinking all this time, I know she's still not doing certain things, but I'm thinking she was lying about doing the certain things, the steps to actually get her child back. But then on the other end, I'm talking to the other person that have the kids, and I'm hearing their side, and I'm like, they really don't do what they got to do. The system. They're purposely leaving you in a situation just to do it. Because like you said, the money aspect behind it. But at the same time, who falls with that? The kids.
The kids and the family. Right.
Because now if your kid is with another family, the family is torn apart because of that. And then there's always this one not doing what they got to do. It's the back and forth. But also the children. Now dealing with a teenager, dealing with the law that's getting arrested now. Because now when you're a teenager, now you're getting arrested. And I feel like with the community, I just think sometimes when we grew up, it was centers, it was places to go after school. To me, they're bored. And now, like you said, the lawyers are giving like, oh, my lawyer said, so now you're arguing with them because they think that the lawyer know more than you know, obviously. They're smarter than you. So it's just...
And the lawyer's telling them what they want to hear.
Yes.
So a kid is going to go with whoever's enabling him. And again, I'm telling you as your mother, listen, this is what you need to do. The whole reason why a kid is getting in trouble in the first place starts in the home. It usually starts with the parent. It usually starts with not being able to follow rules, and then it turns into something else. But yes, you're absolutely right. And not only does that happen, we get judged by our own community. Parents are judged. When you hear, oh, I lost my kids, what'd she do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
it's
true.
not, we don't come together as a community and say, who can support this family? Who can support this kid? Who could take this kid? Let's try to see how we can get the mom some help. It's not, oh no, she's abusive. She don't take care of her kids. We all going through it with our kids. And if we think about our own experiences as children, you ain't have a perfect relationship with your mother. So why is it such a stigma about talking about issues with teenagers? It's why I started talking about it in social media. My son actually took me to court. This is how empowered kids are. My son took me to court and said that I was causing emotional harm to him because I was talking about my experience as a parent with him. Okay? And the judge ordered me not to talk about my son online. We have an order of protection.
What?
Yes. I cannot talk about my experience with my son and the situation with his case on my Instagram page, or I can be arrested.
Wow.
Yes. There's a gag order. This is how much power kids have.
Yeah. Wow.
Right? So now at the end of the day, if something happens to my kid, like right now, he's getting rearrested. I keep going to the court saying, listen, he was on an ankle monitor. Nobody's supervising him. He's supposed to be on house arrest. Why is there nobody watching him? When I started advocating for him and saying, y'all need to supervise him, they took him off the ankle monitor.
Wow.
The sheriff's office. Because I was making...
You care too much.
Listen, while he was incarcerated, they allowed a woman who that's not my family member, somebody I know from the neighborhood, to sign my son out of jail.
Long as
and
an
was
adult.
living
Long as an adult.
That's
That's
my
crazy.
child.
That's crazy.
So I went to the court making a big deal out of it. They don't want me to talk about it. They don't want me to, like, listen, there's a lot of issues and a lot of policy changes that need to be made. I don't even know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. Because they just, to me, like you said, in prison, you're just a number. The kids they look at our children, especially the boys, that's, once you get arrested, that's it. You just go on your lost cause. Either, no, like, God forbid, but it's either you end up dead or in jail. And to them, it's like, okay, we could make money off them, put them in jail.
But that's the problem. And we're looking for a solution. And when I say we, it's me, myself. I'm not even supported by my own community. Right? So who else am I going to look to for that support?
Yeah.
The white man. The ACS. The people that's knocking on my door and coming in my house. Because when I look to the people around me, everybody's like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. I had some of my own friends, you shouldn't be talking about it on social media. I'm supposed to hide what's going on in my house.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to hide that I believe my son is really bullying me. Because what's going to stop him if I don't talk about it? Nobody else is not stepping in. I don't have a man in the house. Our culture is to keep, when we need help, on hush.
Yes.
Right? If I need help in education, if I'm in school and I'm not doing well, I can't talk about that. I can't say I need tutoring. If my son or my child has special needs, that's something we try to hide. Like, if I need any type of, listen, I'm not perfect, we're shunned. That doesn't make me a bad parent because I'm having issues with my child. He's giving me problems. I'm going to talk about it. And they ain't going to like me. And that's just what it is.
Because there's so many people with your situation that don't speak. So when they see it, it's like,
Stigma.
wow, she going through that too? You know?
My DMs were flooded.
Yeah.
Thousands. I could not even respond to all those DMs. People, oh my God, my daughter's taking over my house. My son is doing this to me. It's not the kids. It's the circumstances that they're in. It's the lack of opportunity. I don't have the money to do the stuff that I really want to do with my kid. If I had the money he would be in karate. He would be in swimming. He does stuff, but it's the socioeconomic status. We are targeted because of the poverty level. Our kids fail because we don't have the resources.
Yep.
Yep.
And when you don't give resources to people that need them, what happens? They take them.
Yep. For sure. So how do we break, like, systemic cycles for mother and children? Mother and child.
How do we break systemic cycles? I don't even have an answer right now. We got to start with community support. Like, whenever you see a conflict, I'll start with this. Whenever you see a conflict between parent and child, the automatic go-to mindset is pick a side.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, she did this, I'm on the mother's side. Or he did this, I'm on the kid's side. You don't have to be on anybody's side. You could be on the side of keeping this family together.
Right.
Right? If there is a language barrier, meaning the lingo that the youth is using and the parent, there's a disconnect, and you're that cool auntie, you could bridge that gap, right? Maybe this is what your mom is trying to say. This woman who picked my son up without my consent, she was DMing my son telling him, your mother's evil.
She's a complete stranger?
No, she's someone that I knew
back
in the day, was a bad influence on me. We was going boosting together. After a while, I realized I don't want to live this lifestyle anymore. She still was doing it. I even found out she was shoplifting with my kid, like, while I was gone. And my son, he's very materialistic, so he don't care about that. He's like, she gave me Montclair coats. She did this, she did that. But look at the mindset you have. Now you don't appreciate love from your mother. You run into this woman who's giving you materialistic items. Where do you think that's going to end up? Where you going to end up? You know? So it's like, you have authority over my son on some level. Like, he's listening to your voice more than mine. Why wouldn't you use that to his advantage and try to get in his head in a way that I can't? Like, you know, why aren't you listening to your mother? What's your problem with your mom? Maybe we could talk about it. Do you want to sit down? Like, if it was me, that's how I would approach that scenario. There's been numerous amount of times where people have tried to act like they're supporting me, step in, and trying to turn my son against me. Like, talking about me to my kid, where I'm seeing messages, or there are times where he has told me himself. And I'm like, wow, you You judging me. You don't really understand the situation. He's a teenager. He's trying to get over. He's lying about a lot of the stuff that he's saying. So there's people like looking at me like, oh, you mistreated your kid, but you don't even really know my situation. And if you really want to help, you talk to me.
Yeah. I feel like in my household, you're my mom and I'm your son. And for me, no one ever asked me like, what's wrong? Like, why are you acting out in this way? It was just like, whatever my mom said, that's exactly, if teachers complained, she did that. My mother said this, so that's what it is. Like, I've even found myself in scenarios where my dad lied on me and said I did things. And I'm just like, excuse me? It's so funny to hear you say that everyone's siding with him, because that was the total opposite of my experience.
That's the culture now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take away from your experience either, because I do believe children should be heard, right? He is hurting. His mother, my son's, I was gone. His mother was gone. There's some trauma there. There's probably some things that have happened to him that I don't know about. He's told me in therapy, like, why do you want to know? What are you going to do about it now? You know what I'm saying? So if you have his ear, is what I'm saying, you should be encouraging him instead of to rekindle with the family. Ultimately, if something happens to my kid, that's my burden to carry. Like, every night I was going to sleep scared that my son was going to die.
Yeah.
Do you know how many women are walking around acting like they're okay, but they're not okay? Like, somebody's going to murder my kid, or maybe, God forbid, something's going to happen to somebody else's kid, and I'm going to be visiting my son where I was.
Yeah, I always make a joke on the show and say, my mother got 3 insurance policies on me, but she literally got them because she thought I would be dead at a young age. Yeah.
Listen, the kids need to be heard just as much as the parent. But I don't think there should be more weight on either side.
Yeah.
Right? Each party has a perspective. The kid is having an issue. Let's talk to this kid. Let's figure out how we can meet him where he is. And same for the mom. It's not the mom's fault when a kid fails. There are some kids who are just more challenging to handle than others.
Yeah. And some just want to be heard and seen and respected.
Like you.
Yeah, like me.
You should have been heard.
But, okay. So this is my favorite part of the show. All right, my second favorite part, because Mama said what is my favorite, but this is my second favorit part. Okay? All right, so I can do it. I can do it. Okay.
You can do whatever makes you happy.
So this is our segment. Talk about it. She hates that. So you sent the questions, we got the answers, and we're keeping it real. So let me read our email of the week.
Oh, God.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, your nose is so cute.
Thank you. I snailed it. Plug my girl in.
It's cute.
Okay. Thank you.
I gotta check out.
Yeah, she's good. All right. So I've been a single mom for almost 3 years now. My son is my world, but I get so torn between wanting to date and feeling guilty about it. Part of me feels like I should wait until he's older, but another part of me wants companionship now. How do I even start without feeling like I'm doing something wrong? TJ, you first.
It's really important to connect with the kids, right? But it's also important for the kids have to feel heard. So for me, I didn't date because I was incarcerated. I didn't want my kid to feel like they had to fight for my attention, especially because they already was doing that between the two of them, right? So I think it's really important to focus on the kid for a certain amount of time. As far as dating is concerned, it has to be after that child's needs are met. Unfortunately, it's not the answer that probably most people want to hear. But I think when you're a single mom, like, there are some things that are going to fall through the cracks. There are some things that are just not going to get done. There are some things that you're doing a job for 2 people, right? And so for me, my focus is my child. And when I realize that he's where he needs to be and he's on track, then I can go back and think about dating. Yeah. That's me, coming from the background I came from. I think that, especially when it's not that child's kid, that's when the dynamic shifts. It also depends on the child, right? If you have a child who's doing well, and is able to, that doesn't need as much as your attention, then I would say yes, go for it. But if you have a child who has special needs, if you have a child who's giving trouble, who's just as impacted, then I would say no.
I would say I think that she should date, and I say that because when you become a mom, a lot of people always, yes, you can focus on your child, but you also have to focus on your needs. So people sometimes get it, they forget about themselves, and then you can't pour into other people's cup if nobody's pouring into yours. So you want to be this person for your child, but you're lacking the necessities you need to, go on in life. And I just think when people always got to make dating and a child is not in the same category. Like your dating is over here, but your kid is over here. You can still, that's the same thing with friends. You got to fit your friends in that equation. You fit a job in that equation. You can fit all these things in your life and still be a mom to your child. You just got to learn balance and you got to learn time. Don't let one take from the other. Because when you do that, that's when it becomes a problem.
That was the word for me.
Otherwise than that,
was the word
you're
for
good.
me.
But
I would just say, like, can I just piggyback
okay.
off of what you said? It was always never enough time. Like,
right.
And my situation is a little bit different. So my lens is a little biased. Trying to catch up after 5 years with a kid is like, I can't think about dating. I'm worried about my kids, right? And I'm still worried about my kids, like, because my story is still happening. And it's like every moment which is why I'm single right now, probably. Like, I'm with this guy. He's showing me nice things. We're doing amazing things. But I'm thinking about my kid. I can't even really give him my full attention because I'm a single mom. Ain't nobody home with my kid. So I know what you're saying, but it feels like this or that. That's in reality, like when you're going through it.
Because you still healing.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like that. Because if once you get past that stage, then you'll feel more free because you don't need to be there with your kid all the time. And even as a single parent, people need to learn how to share their child. People don't share. And I think now you're in that selfish phase because I missed my kids for 5 years. So I got to do this. So when you find as your kids grow and they get older, you'll eventually see that you're going to be like, damn, you don't want me to come with you? Like, you don't want me to do it. So then you'll start breaking free. Because, like, right now, I'm chilling. Like, I ain't thinking about my kids. One. But
how old is your baby?
She's 13.
Okay.
So, but I feel like as a single mom, when I'm out with my friends, I'm out with my friends. Like, I try to break that because I don't want to be too much for her. Because sometimes, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, Andy.
And I feel like sometimes we overcompensate. We spoke about this on the show before. Like, I'm not saying this is what you're doing, but maybe like that time away, you're just like, I need to focus on. Yeah. So it's like, I gotta be there. I can't worry about anything. I want you to feel loved. I want you to know that I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving you again. So maybe that's something to think about.
It is absolutely a thing. And I'm trying to break out of it. I'm not perfect, but I am striving to do my best each day. And I try to get better and better and better each. There was a time where I was out. I used to hang out. I used to drink. I used to be on dates, and my kid was going downhill during those times. And I was trying to find happiness for myself. And I kind of feel guilty for those moments. Thinking like maybe if I wasn't out so much, maybe it would be different. So that could be why my answer is what it is. But I don't know. I don't think there's any right answer when it comes to parenting, dating,
it's whatever
balancing.
Floats your boat. Yeah.
So,
but if you asking me to, I'm going to tell y'all go on a date.
We going to tell her to date. We going to tell TJ to date. We going to tell, go outside.
I'm single, y'all.
And she's beautiful. Yes. But yeah, girl, go out on your dates. If you got a sitter, go have a date. Because the child doesn't have to know. Why do they need to know that you're going on a romantic date? Like, I'm going out. I'm hanging out with my friend. But
just take time for yourself. It's not even just dating. Like, go out with your friends. She said
3 years. She's been a single mom for 3 years. Girl, go outside.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go about your
3 years is long. After the first year, I need attention.
It depends on how her kid kid is doing though too.
That too.
Them kids always ain't doing good. Go outside, girl. It's always the kids always got issues. It doesn't matter.
They're never
we can
doing
set
good.
them up because they still got issues.
Fuck
Go
them
outside,
kids.
yeah. Basically.
Fuck them kids.
Yes, they always got issues. So her kid, it don't matter. She could have been the parent home every day. There's something wrong with that
Yeah,
kid.
it's so
Just go
true.
outside, girl. It ain't worth it.
Yeah.
Just go outside.
Because everybody has trauma.
Yeah,
Like,
but
we
okay,
all got-
we gotta wrap this up.
So how can we tell us about your book? Where can we find your book? Where can we follow you on social media so that
Yes, let our
are you
followers
accepting any
know.
volunteers through your philanthropy? Like tell us.
I never thought about volunteers. Something I need to
Yeah.
do.
I love prison reform. Like literally that was my dream job.
Okay.
And then I was like,
Yeah, we used to always
I don't
get
wanna work
into
for
it
people.
about that.
yeah, heavy debates.
So what did you end up doing? I'm just curious.
Oh, now?
After you left after the correctional.
Oh, she just
facility.
left.
Oh, I just left. I'm just chilling. That's it. I just left. I'm just chilling.
I've had people like that.
Yeah,
They couldn't
it's
do it.
I mean, I was chilling in there, granted, but at the same time, I don't like the administration. It's not about I just don't like the whole system in total. It's not just about me being a CEO. It's bigger than that. I just like, we can't talk about that now because we can talk later. That's a
Yeah.
long
I'm
thing,
sorry.
but
All right, so
I'm serious, but
tell us your platform.
I'm sorry. So my platform is TJ Volcane on Instagram and TikTok. That's TJ V as in Victor ULCAIN. And I can also be found at tjvolcane.com where I'm selling my book, A Black Girl in Orange. It's a memoir about my prison experience, having a baby, going through trauma while I was incarcerated. The sequel to that will be released before the end of this year.
Period.
And I also am a consultant. You can book me on my website for curriculum design. I also do organizational coaching, just a lot of this leadership training for people who want to go into this kind of work, don't really understand the population, trying to learn more about reentry, creating programs for reentry. I do a lot of that work in training in my day job. And if you just want to connect with me, I'm usually responsive on those platforms.
Well, thank you again
Thank you
for
for
coming. Yay!
thank you.
And as always, meet us back here Thursdays, 7 p.m. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.